This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on The South Today, the Prime Minister says the general election will be delayed by 4 weeks to the 17th of October. A rare workers' cottage from the 1880s is set to have a new home at Dunedin's former gasworks. And no loaves in sight, but there are plenty of fish to feed those in need, thanks to some generous Dunedinites. Kia ora, good evening. I'm Simon Anderson. New Zealanders will go to the polls a little later than expected after the Prime Minister delayed the general election by 4 weeks. Professor Andrew Geddes of the University of Otago says it's an unprecedented move in what are uncertain times.
New Zealanders have another 4 weeks to make up their minds who to vote for in the general election.
Having weighed up all these factors and taken wide soundings, I have decided on balance to move the election by 4 weeks to the 17th of October.
Otago University Professor Andrew Geddes specialises in electoral law and says the only time this has been done before was during World War II, though the reverse has happened more recently with several snap elections.
Doesn't give my opponents much time to run up to an election, does it?
Well, we haven't seen an election put back like this. I mean, we have seen snap elections where the Prime Minister gets up and announces there's going to be an early election, it's going to be held very quickly. So, Robert Muldoon back in 1984 famously did it, while tired and emotional, shall we say. Helen Clark did it in 2002 when it looked like it might give her a chance of, winning a majority government.
Jacinda Ardern says she won't be changing the date again, which Professor Geddes agrees she can't, as it's no longer just up to her.
So if it turns out that in October there's still concerns and we're still under some limited constraints and we can't have big crowds and so on, the Electoral Commission has planned the election to be held under those conditions. We can still safely and freely vote. So the important thing is, not to freak out and worry that the COVID situation means we're not going to be able to choose our leaders. That will be able to happen.
In a live address, the Prime Minister says she consulted with other political party leaders before coming to the decision. Under normal circumstances, calling an election date is the Prime Minister's decision alone to make. But Geddes says talking with other parties is an interesting move.
The only way that the election can be extended is if Parliament meets and 75% of MPs vote to extend the length of the term of Parliament. So National and Labour, in essence, would have to agree to put the election off till next year. Now, I mean, that is absolute outside the box territory. And frankly, it looks like it's very, very unlikely to even be thought about.
He says when Parliament is dissolved, only the Chief Electoral Officer can make any alterations to the process, and the Electoral Commission has made contingency plans for different levels of COVID restrictions. New Zealand is now set to go to the polls on October 17th. Professor Geddes says this should allow the current COVID-19 outbreak to be quashed. In Dunedin, The South Today.
After a busy few days, southern COVID-19 community testing stations have shut down. However, they remain on standby and can be reopened in a matter of hours if needed. Hundreds of southerners flocked to testing centres after community transmission cases of COVID-19 were discovered in the North Island last week. Staff at the Dunedin drive-through testing station performed more than 200 swabs over the weekend. No positive tests were recorded in the south. Wellsouth South have closed the community centres because there's now sufficient capacity in general practice to deal with the expected swabbing demand. Currently, Auckland is at alert level 3 while the rest of the country is at level 2. A Dunedin house dating back to the late 1800s will likely soon shift to its new home at the Gasworks Museum. The house is unique as it's one of the few surviving workers' cottages of that era.
Currently at Tuhuna Park, this historic workers' cottage from the late 1800s looks likely to move back to its original street and become part of Dunedin's Gasworks Museum.
It's now going to the Gasworks, which is where it belongs really, and the Gasworks Trust is keen to have it, and it will extend the interest of the gasworks, and it will show the domestic use of gas and the appliances, and then it's the link with Dunedin's social history.
Heritage campaigner Anne Barsby says the building's about 130 years old and is one of the last few remaining examples of a workers' cottage of that time. It's hoped the various rooms will be restored to show household appliances and fittings from different eras.
It started off as a little cottage with a little veranda, and then it was made into looking like a villa with its 2 bays, later on. So it shows the period of change too from, for domestic architecture, and it's very original in structure. And so we're planning to restore it to show these different eras of its life.
While the house was generously donated by its previous owner, Barsby has had to dip into her own pocket for about $14,000 worth of repairs, and there'll be more costs to turn it into a little museum at the old gasworks.
But we're both non-funded organisations and charitable trusts, so any funding that people would like to donate would be marvellous.
It's hoped resource consent to move the house to the Gasworks Museum will be granted in the next few months, with the City Council offering to help with the shift. In Dunedin, the South Today.
This afternoon, Finance Minister Grant Robertson announced a 2-week extension to the government's wage subsidy scheme. The extension of the wage subsidy scheme comes in the wake of COVID-19's resurgence and is expected to cover 470,000 jobs, costing about $510 million. Minister Robertson says this is also a reminder applications to the wage subsidy remain open until the 1st of September. The overall scheme is set to cost $1.6 billion, not from the government's $14 billion COVID-19 fund. Port Chalmers fishermen have teamed up to help put meals on families' tables who are under pressure from COVID-19. The plan is to supply about 200 kilos of fish each month to Dunedin food banks.
Freshly caught fish are offloaded from the Port Chalmers Fishermen's Co-op fishing vessel, the Donna Marie, with some of the catch intended to be donated to local people in need. The idea of supplying fish as charity is something the Co-op's president, Ant Smith, has been trying to get going for some time.
How it works is the fisherman will donate some fish to the fishing company, and the company processes that fish and moves it on to the charities. We're going to supply the charities about 200 kilos of raw product per month.
Once landed, the fish are processed and frozen by local company Harbour Fish. And Smith says the idea relies on the generosity of those in the supply chain.
It appears to be difficult on the surface, but we've had great response from particularly the quota owners like Tallies and the processors like Harbour Fish, and their core to make this happen.
Smith's idea of making free fish available to those in need has got traction thanks to the economic impact of COVID-19, and he's hoping it will go further than just being a local initiative.
Well, we envision that this will just be ongoing. Obviously, when COVID's over, the need will be perhaps a wee bit less, but poverty in New Zealand is out there and it's real. We'd like to see this picked up by the other associations throughout the country.
Harbour Fish are planning to store the frozen fish and make it available to food banks as needed. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Still to come on the South Today. We delve into one of the referenda scheduled to take place at the election, and we have a wrap-up of the weekend's rugby in Dunedin. See you after the break.
المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر.
risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole Map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Wrens are Otago's painting, tiling and plastering experts. Offering a free measure and quote, Wrens is a name you can trust to get the job done right. Call Wrens today on 477 9384 or visit wrens.co.nz.
Do you know Youth Grow in North East Valley? It's an awesome plant nursery where young people can work and learn life skills. You can now order your vegetable seedlings, herbs, bulbs and shrubs over the phone or by email. Either pick up your order on Norwood Street in North East Valley or they can deliver to you. Look for Youth Grow Garden Centre on Facebook or visit youthgrow.org.nz. Happy gardening!
Garrador Dunedin, delivering quality, stylish garage doors in Dunedin for over 17 years. New doors, replacement doors and maintenance are all part of Garrador's quality service. Garrador Dunedin offers a full range of modern quality doors to suit any home. Come visit the team.
Heaven Sent Pet Cremations knows that losing a pet is like losing a family member, and we have many special ways for you to keep their memory dear to your heart. From caskets, remembrance pendants to remembrance spheres. Call Heaven Sent Pet Cremations today.
You've seen us in the street, now find us online. Check out shopon.org.nz. We have all sorts of treasures, from retro and vintage clothing to antiques, homewares and accessories. New items added every week. We're open 24/7.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
No mai nō, welcome back. When New Zealanders go to the polls next month, they'll have plenty of decisions to make. Over the while, we're bringing you instalments from Channel 39's community-produced You Choose 2020 series, so you can be better informed on both local and national political discussions. In this instalment, we ask local party representatives just how easy or difficult it is to talk openly about cannabis.
I'm really clear that I'd like to see it framed in terms of personal use rather than recreational use. Recreational makes it sound like people sitting around getting stoned and doing nothing. Personal use is about people having tino rangatiratanga over their own bodies, being able to make their own medical decisions and decide for themselves, whether they feel that using cannabis is good for their well-being.
I think everyone's always talked about cannabis in some respects. I'm not too long out of uni, so I still remember the days where we'd talk about it pretty openly. I think what this has opened up is a whole bunch of conversations, not only about the use of cannabis, but kind of the effects of it, both positive and negative. So you've got your health effects, plus your mental health effects, plus what it does in terms of smoking and things like that. I think it's a conversation that maybe has made it a bit more open, but certainly nothing different to what we used to.
I have found that it probably hasn't been the topic of conversation that it possibly should be at this stage, given the importance of the issue. So I'm hoping that people take the opportunity to get themselves fully educated with the information that is in the public arena or will be coming to you as part of the referendum process.
I really haven't had a lot to do with it for the last 30 years, and this is just sort of, with this referendum coming up, I really haven't paid any attention to cannabis at all. So it doesn't bother me whether it's legal or illegal, really, because it's not in the circles I move in. But I'm just sort of doing a bit of research on it at the moment.
I found it really interesting. It's one of the hot topics when going around the streets and doing canvassing. People who haven't necessarily been so engaged with politics are really excited about this referendum.
And we'll bring you the next instalment of the You Choose 2020 series in Tuesday night's bulletin, or alternatively, you can watch the full episode at odt.co.nz. With alert levels raised, most club rugby fans stayed home over the weekend to watch the Highlanders beat the Hurricanes 38-21. Dunedin's premier competition continued anyway, with results including Dunedin Rugby Club's 27-18 win over Alhambra Union.
On the North Ground today, it was 27-18 to Dunedin. I picked out a couple of players today. I'll talk to Noah Cooper first, the centre for Alhambra Union. Mate, I thought you had a pretty good game, but it was an interesting game, wasn't it? It was sort of you got down, scored. If you scored, you won the game, and you just didn't get it. You had enough opportunities, but couldn't get it done.
Yeah, I think when we play well, we play really well, but we're just so patchy. Caught out down the short side 3 times, 3 tries. Yeah, we're good when we're good, but we're not good for long enough at this stage.
And I found the replacement prop here today, Cam Burrows, the club chairman from Dunedin. I felt had a very good game today, came on, added a bit of impetus, and there was one particular movement where he went 30 metres. I knew he would kick ahead and try to kick for the corner. So just talk me through that massive break.
I'll talk about having skill sets, I guess, and we practice everything, all the micro skills. So yeah, when in space, you just got to make the most of it. You don't want to waste it. But Cam, it was a crucial game today. Whoever didn't win this game is going to struggle to make the top 6. That must have been on your mind. And Dunedin, it was a tough old game, 3-3 at half time, but you scored when you had to in the second half. Yeah, we knew Alhambra were going to bring it to us, and especially with their talent out wide. But they actually outmuscled us in the forward pack early on. Yeah, we had a couple of weeks when we went down to Kayak, and then obviously to Harbour, but yeah, the hard work's paying off now and we're starting to see some results.
Right, I know, and we'll finish with you, mate. So you've got a point out of today's game. You'll go to 15, you're still in it, 2 games to go. What do you got to do, apart from obviously just win?
Yeah, you're right, we need to win, but we just need to catch the ball and mark someone on defence. It's a pretty simple game. Make your tackles, catch the ball, and I think we've got enough firepower to have a real crack. So
okay. Well done, good luck, well done boys. So there it is, all over. I'll wrap those scores for you. Southern Zingaree, 43-13, Southern over Zingaree. That gives them a 5-pointer. That puts them right on the hunt for the 6. Tyree, they just keep on winning. Green Island just keep on losing. 21-7 to Tyree. And that will just about guarantee Tyree the Galloway Shield as the first round winners. And in the big game down at the Varsity Oval, Kaikorai came out on top. So that's made it really good for them. They won that 20-18, and in this game here, Dunedin have gone a long way to making the top 6. They won 27 points to 18 over Alhambra Union, and we'll be back with you again next week.
After the break on the South today, we find out how much new Southern bus fares will cost, and we have a look at your weather heading into the working week. See you soon.
الرحمن الرحيم مؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر.
Do you know Youth Grow in North East Valley? It's an awesome plant nursery where young people can work and learn life skills. You can now order your vegetable seedlings, herbs, bulbs and shrubs over the phone or by email. Either pick up your order on Norwood Street in North East Valley, or they can deliver to you. Look for Youth Grow Garden Centre on Facebook or visit youthgrow.org.nz. Happy gardening!
Well, mate, I'm thinking about getting a new ute.
Garrador Dunedin, delivering quality, stylish garage doors in Dunedin for over 17 years. New doors, replacement doors and maintenance are all part of Garrador's quality service. Garrador Dunedin offers a full range of modern quality doors to suit any home. Come visit the team.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Wrens are Otago's painting, tiling and plastering experts. Offering a free measure and quote, Wrens is a name you can trust to get the job done right. Call Wrens today on 477 9384 or visit wrens.co.nz.
Step into Shop on Carroll and discover a shop full of treasures. We have a fantastic range of vintage and retro clothes, upmarket clothing labels, collectible items, beautiful jewellery, quality linen and the best range of vintage haberdashery.
Heaven Sent Pet Cremations knows that losing a pet is like losing a family member, and we have many special ways for you to keep their memory dear to your heart. From caskets, remembrance pendants to remembrance spheres. Call Heaven Sent Pet Cremations today.
Ah, TV, our favourite babysitter. But it can be tough keeping up with what our tamariki are watching. Luckily, the Broadcasting Standards Authority has made some smart changes to the classification labels. Ooh! Plus changes to the time of day certain rated shows will air and awesome new parental lock features, meaning your babysitter's job is safe. Find out more at safeviewing.co.nz.
Thanks for staying with us. Dunedin buses will charge adult passengers a $2 flat fare from next month. The Otago Regional Council voted to adopt the new fare system, which includes a flat fare of $1.20 for children. The cash fare without using the new B card will be $3, and Supergold card holders in Dunedin and Queenstown can travel for free at all times. Passengers who forget to tag off buses with their B card will be stung for $3. However, a number of people, including Dunedin's Mayor Aaron Hawkins, have objected to the fares for students and disabled people travelling just one zone, as the new fare costs 28 cents more than the old one. And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South today. The Prime Minister says the general election will be delayed by 4 weeks, but a Dunedin academic says it can be moved again. A rare workers' cottage from the 1880s is set to have a new home at Dunedin's former gasworks. And no loaves in sight, but there are plenty of fish to feed those in need, thanks to some generous Dunedinites. And now, for a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT, we have editor Barry Stewart with us. Kia ora, Barry.
Hello, Simon. We have local reactions to the Prime Minister's decision to push out the date for the general election to October 17. And one person very excited about that prospect is a 17-year-old Otago Girls High School pupil who turns 18 on October 17. So she plans to do her research into the parties and the policies, and so she can make an informed decision on October 17. Another 272 house subdivision has been proposed for Queenstown. We have details of that. We also have details on a fatality at a Waitati logging site. And just finishing off with the Highlanders, they of course finished the season on a high note, beating Wellington at the weekend. But what happens now? Sports editor Stephen Hepburn looks at the comings and goings, who is staying and who is going.
Great, thank you, Barry.
Okay.
Now time for a look at the weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Starting with the southern view, duelling monoliths on the side of the Central Library building at the University of Otago. Looking at the situation, a mild and northerly airflow covers the region for a few days, bringing some rain in the west and on the ranges, but mostly dry weather in the east with breezy winds. Starting off at the northwest of the South Island, Greymouth and Westport can expect cloud, showers and 13 degrees. Across to the northeast, Nelson and Blenheim can expect partial cloud, with 14 degrees for you both. Moving down to Canterbury, cloudy skies are the order of the day here. Christchurch heads for 12 degrees, Kaikoura 14 and Ashburton should reach 13 degrees. To the southern towns, the Catlins, Balclutha, Lumsden and Gore can all expect grey skies with fresh northerlies. The Catlins should get to 11 degrees with 14 degrees predicted for Balclutha, Lumsden and Gore. To central Otago, it's moderate northerlies with high cloud increasing for everyone here too. Wanaka, Queenstown and Te Anau should head for 13 degrees and Alexandra 2 degrees warmer on 15. To the northern towns, on the coast expect clear skies and 14 in Timaru, just a cloud or 2 and 13 degrees in Oamaru. Further inland, Omarama and Twizel, you should plan for moderate northerlies, high cloud increasing and a high of 14 degrees. In Dunedin, some cloud tonight with northeast winds and an overnight low of 5 degrees. Mostly cloudy and cold tomorrow, with the cloud breaking a little at times. Expect a high of 10 degrees, milder on Wednesday with sunny periods, high cloud and moderate northerly winds, a high of 16 and a low of 7. And in Invercargill, it'll be fine tonight with an overnight low of 4 degrees. Fine too tomorrow with high cloud increasing during the day and breezy northerly winds developing. Plan for a high of 15 with an overnight low of 7. Mostly cloudy on Wednesday with some light rain at times and fresh, mild northerly winds. Expect pleasant daytime temperatures of 16 degrees and an overnight low of 8. That's the news this Monday. For the latest news from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz or follow Channel 39 on Facebook and YouTube. Have a great evening and week. Ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.